This is Mike Chisora, Pro Boxing Fans. I'm delighted to be joined today for the first time by David Price. David, I mean, we're here for the Pro Project, obviously, event. I mean, the one that I want to talk about you mainly is obviously you're a fighter, you've fought, you come from the amateur system, and these guys are stepping in. Some have fought before, but obviously it is a new thing. Just what sort of challenge have they got ahead of them right now?
They have got a big challenge, as I've just been talking before. They haven't had the luxury of when I started boxing, I was in the gym for 12 months before I had a fight. They haven't got the luxury of that. They've got a 10-week camp in at the deep end. Obviously, they're ex-professional footballers, so they're sportsmen, they're athletes, they're disciplined, they know how to train and look after the bodies and all that, but it is out of the comfort zone. It's completely different from football. Got to respect them for that, honestly. But they're going to love it. They're going to love it. It's going to be worth every ounce of sweat that they come out of the body on the training camps. And like they were talking up there before, got a great team spirit, camaraderie going on. What they're missing, it's for a great cause, great charity. Yeah, everyone's a winner, I think, in this.
Like I say, it's for a great cause, and I mean, for boxing, 10 weeks is not a long amount of time when you've not boxed before. What advice would you give these guys 10 weeks out?
One of my very best mates is fighting on at Bradley Orr, and that's why I'm here, because that's why I'm involved. The advice I'd given him is the fitness element. The fittest, it's not going to come down to technique over 3 rounds. If you're fit and you want it, that's what's going to win you the fight. And like I say, there's not much you can show someone in 10 weeks, but if you can keep your hands up and keep throwing punches, volume will win you the fight, in my opinion. That's how I can see it going with most of these fights, and about who wants it more.
I wanted to ask you, like I said, you've come from that amateur system, then the professional rankings, that traditional route, and obviously the state of boxing right now, you've seen Zuffa Boxing and Dana White, and obviously Jai Opetaia fights for the inaugural event of the Zuffa belt. To you, who's a fighter and grown up looking at world titles and obviously the Olympics and the traditional system of boxing, would a Zuffa belt kind of entice you at all, or would you not be interested in that?
If it was still boxing, yeah, I mean, it depends what was in it from a commercial point of view. Basically what I was going to get paid, and that's what fighters are in boxing for. And if there's more money to be earned over that side, then they're going to do it, because they've got to look after number one at the end of the day. But you know, like I said, like I always say, fighters give up the best years of their lives chasing a dream, which might not come true for the vast majority. And then once it's gone, it's gone. And if you can get given any extra help or additional opportunities, whether it's over there in Saudi Arabia, wherever, you've got to follow that. You've got to do it. So if I was boxing, I probably would. And you know, boxing's evolved. You know, the Ring magazine in the 1920s and all that, and 15-round fights, and it's evolved over the period of time, and everything changes. Boxing was never just going to be how it's been. It's changing, and you can see that with like Misfits, Saudi getting involved, now there's Zuffa getting involved. And the good thing is, like I say, it's gonna create more opportunities for fighters, hopefully. But we'll see, you know.
Maurizio Suleiman from the WBC said he's not worried about Zuffa, and he thinks obviously them traditional bodies will continue to kind of dominate and rule boxing. To you, when you talk about the changes in boxing, could you see a world where almost like UFC model of almost like a league where they all fight for the Zuffa belt? And I know money talks. Could you see this happening?
I do think it could happen eventually, yeah. And the reason I think it could is because at one point we never thought Saudi Arabia would attract fighters, and it did, and that's how it looked to be heading with Turkey. So I think it could happen, but it's what that does for opportunities for the lower level fighters, which we need. You know, boxing's got a food chain, if you will, and we need lower level fighters to be active, to bring the next stars of the sport through. And there's a place in boxing for all that. it just depends how much content can be shown on one show, if it's all in one place, if you understand what I mean. I've seen Anthony Crolla talking about like lack of opportunity for lower level fighters in the UK now because of what's happening in Saudi Arabia. I don't know how true it is, but it made me think, is that going to become a thing where the small hall shows become extinct? Because small hall shows, promoters don't make any money on them, fighters don't really make that much money on them, but it's getting them up the ladder to the bigger shows. And as long as there's some kind of something that trickles down to the lower levels from the top, if it's all in one place, then to keep that going, then I think it'd be a good thing. But it's all pie in the sky at the minute. But I think, like I said, evolution does happen, and it's coming in boxing, I think.
Fabio Wardley set to put his world title on the line against Daniel Dubois. I mean, firstly, in a first defence, obviously a tough fight, just fireworks that fight, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to take your hat off of Fabio Wardley, because he takes hard fights, and he's gone after it the right way, and he's come through every time with flying colours. Fantastic fighter, fan-friendly style, fast hands. He's got all of it really. And Daniel Dubois is coming off a defeat, but before that, his momentum was unbelievable. You know, Anthony Joshua, Jarrell Miller, Ergovic, he had some big wins, but they both got momentum. But the only one in Dubois' way is the Usyk one. And it just depends how he responds to the defeat and the critics of that, where it's hurt him. So if he can just take it on and go, right, I'll fucking show you now, then I think he's in with a great chance. But I've got Fabio Wardley as the favourite, but he can't make a mistake. Can't make one mistake. It's like the old Deontay Wilder. The Deontay Wilder of old. You have to be switched on. He used to say you have to be switched on for the entire 3 minutes of a round. And I think Wardley would have to be with Dubois.
Would you say with his amateur pedigree and he's kind of rising boxing, Daniel Dubois comes in as the better boxer in that fight?
No, I wouldn't say he's the better boxer, because I think pure boxing wise, I think Fabio Wardley in a boxing match wins a boxing match. I think for brute strength and power, Daniel Dubois wins that. So no, I don't, even though Fabio Wardley hasn't had the same amateur background and everything else, he's caught up with all that. That doesn't matter. He's caught up. He's world champion. Technically, in the original sense of the word boxing, he's as good as any of them.
Tyson Fury returns against Makhmudov, obviously, who just comes off his win against Dave Allen. I mean, on paper, it looks like a good return for him. Obviously, it's quite a big name after the Dave win. Do you agree? Good fight for Tyson?
Nice pick, yeah, good pick, I think. I mean, we all know who he is now, obviously, because he's beat Dave Allen, and Dave Allen is popular in the UK. And he's an exciting fighter. He's good to watch. You know, he's an offensive fighter. Not the best on the back foot, but offensively he's good, and that's going to make Tyson Fury switch on, take it seriously, you know, because he is capable of being complacent. We've seen the Francis Ngannou fight. He took that completely, took that lightly, if you will, and nearly paid the price. This time, switched on, someone in front of him who's dangerous. He'll get a great deal of satisfaction on winning the fight, and then he'll go after the Usyk fight again, I think.
I saw Dave Allen said that Makhmudov almost plays into Fury's hands, kind of like his jab's not quick enough, and just the fight for Tyson, this is perfect. Almost look good, and maybe he might outbox him for 5 rounds and then stop it in 6th, 7th, 8th round. Is that how you see it playing out?
Yeah, probably is, yeah. I mean, he's not the hardest to hit, and Tyson Fury will probably make him look a little bit pedestrian, but like I say, he's got to be switched on at all times with this guy, because he can whack, and Tyson Fury can go down. But it might not be as straightforward as that, because he's no slouch. He might have lost a couple of times, but heavyweight who can punch at his level, and he's a good boxer. There could be a knockdown in the fight, but I think Fury's going to win, obviously, and on to the next one.
Obviously, Chisora Wilder. I mean, we're spoilt in the heavyweight division right now. Chisora, do you think it's almost the perfect fight for him in terms of his style and that pressure for a man like Wilder, which we don't know what's left, but from what we've seen, he can be caught? Do you think this could be perfect for Chisora?
I think so, yeah. I think it's about who lasts the longest in this fight, and Derek Chisora can outlast pretty much everyone. I think he's the perfect opponent. Wilder is not the fighter he was. No one at that age is, but Chisora's longevity is not down to him just being tough. It's down to his boxing brain, it's down to his defence, which is underrated, and how he gets through the 12 rounds in fights. He can just keep doing it. And so it should be celebrated really, because instead of people calling for him to retire, let's look at why he's come this far and why he's getting these wins. He's doing something right. Wilder, on the other hand, I feel like once he's lost that aura of invincibility that he once had, what else has he got? Because boxing wise, he's not the greatest boxer technically. Punch power, unbelievable. Speed, really good. But apart from that, once you look past that, all the other ingredients aren't quite there, and I think Derek will outlast him.
Obviously, we saw the clash with Simon Jordan, and I saw Tony Bellew said he's worried about Wilder. I mean, what do you make of the clash? I spoke to Deontay in Dubai about a month or two ago. He seemed a different bloke, to be honest. I mean, when you hear them comments from Tony Bellew and you see the clash, what do you make of that?
It just probably depends on what day, what side of the bed he woke up on what day. Look, we all have days where we might feel great. We have days where we might have bad days, or he might have been having a bad day, and it might be one of them where next week he might even cross his mind to talk or mention anything like that. But yeah, it weren't out of character for him though, because he is quite extravagant, isn't he? And a bit, he's said some controversial things in the past as well about killing fighters and things like that. So it's not. I didn't see it and go, oh, what's something wrong with him there? I don't think there's nothing to worry about. It's probably that day he decided he was in a bit of a bad mood and he wanted to give it to Simon Jordan.
Last one. Is there any interest for you in getting the gloves back on? Obviously, you see events like this. Obviously, you got Misfits. Got any interest at all?
Sometimes I do feel like, I'm 42 obviously, so I'm not going to. But when I finished boxing, I wanted to finish boxing. It was on my terms. I was like, I couldn't wait to get out. To be honest, it was hard. The training was hard. I don't know whether it's because I'm this big and heavy or whatever. It's harder for me. I don't know, but I struggled with like recovery from training. I do miss fight week, the big fight, especially towards the end. I was fighting on big matchroom shows in the O2 and all that. They were great, but it was never going to go on forever. So you kind of have to go, well, accept it's over and done. But every time I get myself to a decent level of fitness, it does creep in your head. I could actually fight again here, and I probably could. That's the thing, at a certain level. But I don't need to, nor do I want to.
Definitely. Well, David, thank you very much.